time for about one more question.
Sure.
Oh, I have three.
Yeah.
Okay. You're so tall.
I know.
Oh, okay, great, thanks. Have you led very often when you say you dance with girls?
No.
Teaching Steve, or maybe have you led
I
very
have
often?
never ever led.
Oh.
I think that's a shame because girls who start leading forget to be a better follower. For example, there are a lot of women who have their own dance studios, and when they come around to dance with me, I dance with them, but I never lead. I just felt that it spoils the followers' attitude, and they're dancing. If you're leading, now when you dance with a fella, how can you follow when your instinct is to lead some more? So I think it's a contradiction, really.
Oh, okay. And then you were talking about Dancing with the Sailors in the 40s. So what were they dancing? Were they learning Balboa? And also when you were saying that there were kind of Balboa folks in the corner and swing dancers in the other corner, how many Balboa dancers were there? And was it very popular to where everyone was learning it, or was it what were the percentages? If you yes.
Everybody who danced in the late 30s danced Balboa. Who started in the late 30s danced Balboa. And then Dean Collins came from New York, and he fascinated everybody with the Lindy, the 8-beat combination. Those who could learn Lindy, it was more exciting, they thought. But then the purists all learned to do bell. To be a good dancer, you had to do both. But bell is the basis. Bell is the one you back up into. Bell is the dance that you can do anywhere. If you're going to Austria to the Grand Ball, you can dance bell, but you can't dance swing.
So why do you think? So you maybe account Lindy Hop for maybe changing the popularity of Balboa?
Well, everything goes in eras. There was an era before Balboa. We did something, and I wish I could. I guess slicker collegiate or something. It resembled bell, but bell got very popular when the ballrooms were so terribly crowded that you only had 18 inches of floor space to dance in. So you had to do bell. There was nothing else you could do. And then in many of the ballrooms, open dancing wasn't allowed. In other words, swing dancing wasn't allowed. And aerials were absolutely out. You had to go to beach places to do that. So the staple dance was the Balboa.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Now you just said beach places. When you say beach places, what do you mean by that?
In Hollywood, there were Ocean Park, Santa Monica, Venice, and they all had ballrooms. And it was only the beach ballrooms that were, they didn't have quite the heavy code. For instance, you couldn't go into many places, boys, without a jacket and a tie, right? Yeah, a jacket and a tie. Girls never wore slacks, never, ever. You always wore dresses, suits, whatever. And then there were some who were a little more lax. When I say the beach ballrooms were a little bit more lax, or maybe they would cut off, say, a half an hour and allow swing dancing. But it wasn't the common dance until the Palladium. And then that's where it got very popular with the Harry James bands and, some of the Benny Goodman, Harry James, Charlie Barnett, Jimmy Lunsford, goes on, the Dorsey brothers, Glenn Miller. And Balboa was all, if you danced 4 hours in the afternoon, went home and showered and changed your clothes and came back and danced 4 more hours, you're pretty tired. And Balboa was you could always rest and still be dancing, because Balboa to me is just resting.
Where were some of your favorite places to go dance?
I think the Palladium was my very, very favorite. It was a huge ballroom, and there was every kind of dancer in the world, and every kind of And the music was so great. Hey, you can't dance if the music doesn't push your feet. Right?
That's right. Yep. All right, who else has a question? Do any of my teachers have any questions for Anne? Yeah, anyone? Anyone? Yeah? Hey Anne, what was your favorite years at the Palladium?
Oh, it was World War II, 1942, 43, and 44, and then the war ended, and oh gee, it was, we didn't do anything for recreation but dance. Nobody had any money. If you had a good friend at the Palladium, he would sneak you in the back door.
Did you have a good friend?
No.
In the back?
No, I was never a very popular person as far as dancing went. And you know, if you're around enough and you dance enough, and finally people get to be leaving. Of course, you want to remember that I'm married to John Mills, who is the ultimate swing dancer and has been a fabulous tap dancer. And so many times I've heard people say, well, I wanted to ask you to dance, but you know, gee, you dance with John all the time. In other words, they were intimidated from my partner here. I was never too popular.
John Lindy. Playing the Balboa because
John,
it's
can
like
you
you're
speak
down
into
the
that
chair.
microphone that's in Anne's hand for what you just said? Sorry about that.
When you're doing Lindy, when you really learn Lindy, New York Lindy, you do Lindy, and after a while, boy, you're tickled to death to go into Balboa because it's like you found a sofa.
But bell swing, to answer your question, bell swing is not Balboa, and it's not swing dancing. It's a combination of the two, and I think it's wonderful. You know, nothing stands still. I think you'll find that the older bell dancer, you know, it's every generation takes something and usually improves on it. And hey, bell swing is a lot more interesting than just bell. I think what the young people have done with it is just beautiful. Well, maybe I could. I started to say I don't think I can do it, but maybe I can.
Sure you can.
Well, what Steve's doing is really interesting because he's learned Balboa
And my wife.
from man.
Because it's a followers festival, right?
Apparently I don't exist.
I shouldn't be doing anything, right?
No, you shouldn't.
Do it great.
He should stay out of it. This is us girls.
Well, first I just want to make a comment that you are wildly popular now in Balboa. And
my.
that you have just been an inspiration to so many of us.
Oh.
You've given us something to learn from and something to show people to learn from as well. But when you, for instance, we watched on the clip, we watched you and Maxie dancing, and you would separate and you do the swing step, kick step, tap step, kick step.
That isn't a
What
swing
is that
step.
called to
That's
you?
that's a bell break.
A bell break.
That's a break in Balboa dancing. That is not a swing step.
All right, that's what John, I think, is referring to when he says bow swing, those
Oh,
sorts of break
well,
steps.
Actually, that motion is out of Balboa. It's not a swing. It's not a swing step.
Actually, if I can just clarify, I was talking to Dean Raftery at Camp Hollywood, and he was complaining to me that he didn't understand why there was a Balboa contest and a Lindy Hop contest because they looked the same to him. That's what he said.
Well, you know, Dean and I are good friends, and anytime we see one another anywhere, we dance together. He's a wonderful man and wonderful bell dancer. However, I differ. I think go to LA Swing Club, play a medium fast number. You'll see people doing bell and you'll see people doing swing. Now the finished dancers will combine them. They'll do a little swing and then they'll do a little bell, but they are not the same. That break you're mentioning is a Balboa break. It was there long before swing ever came.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Clear the record. So that's record straight. So at this point in time, unless somebody has a burning question, going once, going twice. All right, what I would like to do now is show Anne a little bit of appreciation for how much she inspires us all. Thank you so much, Anne.
All of you follows. When you, and you teachers, when you teach the hold on Balboa dancing, remember that a man's arm should not go around a girl's back. More, not even halfway. It should stop at the shoulder blade. And girls, when you do, what was that the Heidi was mentioning, that break where it's kicked to, I never kicked. And neither did Natalie, who was probably the cutest bell dancer around. She was so, everybody wanted to dance with her. She was just darling. She didn't kick either. We had our own style. We put our feet down and slipped our feet around. We did this. We didn't kick. We didn't kick. We didn't. We neither one of us thought the kicking was graceful looking, so we didn't do it. Think about it. When you teachers, especially when you teach it, stop and think. What looks better? Someone kicking, or someone going?
I think that looks pretty hot with that little swivel right there. I like that. I like that.
That's all I have to say.
Do you remember that little picture you gave us? Yeah. Did you see the cover of our...
Oh, no. This is my signature picture. You know, there's a picture of Hal Take Here that's on Camp Hollywood, the brochures every year, and you see it on the screen, and you see it here, there, and everywhere. That's his signature picture. Now, this is my signature picture. It was taken a few years ago, but...
You're very welcome. Yeah. So now that picture is everywhere, at least on 200 flyers. Thank you, Ann. Thank you, John.